a bunch of plants going in here. I started this thing up recently where I used to have a bunch of legacy, like the Generation 1 aqua soil from ADA. It's very, very expensive stuff. And it just had just far too many organics in it, you know, and I just got so many algae explosions. So what I did is I switched to just a black sand substrate, and then I fill it up about that tall with just good old fluval stratum. And then I cap the top with some gravel just like that. And it really is like a perfect kind of a setup for me in these 15 and 20 gallons because, you know, if something's getting a little bit too much light or needs more, you just pick up the pot and move it. You know, you don't have to uproot the plant or anything. And yeah, so this is what I got going on in here. This is some stuff I got. This is some Kufia anagaloidea. This is from Brazil. I actually just got this stuff in like 2 days ago. And this is very cool. This is a very, very weird plant. It doesn't even have a species yet. This is called Rotala SP Maca Red.
Oh, wow. That's gorgeous.
It's very, very odd in that
very fine.
That the needles like down here, they kind of like come straight out from the stem, but at the top, they angle downward. It's a very, very strange behaving plant.
Where do those ones come from?
Oh gosh, you know what? I believe that this Rotala, this particular one is South American, I believe.
Okay.
I believe. This one here is called Ludwigia senegalensis. This comes from Senegal, also Guinea. It's also called Ludwigia Guinea. It's a very, very lovely plant.
Wow.
Really red.
And I have some Ludwigia, but it doesn't look like that. Mine's all just green.
Oh, that's good old Ludwigia repens, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? It's really important. Those green plants, they don't get enough, they don't get enough credit because, you know, if you have an entire tank, let's say decked with that, mixed with, I don't know, that, it's just too much color. It's too much red. It really washes everything else out. So
those would look fantastic with like basically a green background, right? Like
bingo.
Yeah, they would just pop.
So Ludwigia repens, the stuff you have, you know, I love that stuff. It's such a great filler plant. You don't need CO2, all that stuff that I'm doing. You know, these really weird plants, these bizarre ones, if you don't pump CO2 in there, they'll slowly fade and go. You know, that's just because in nature, you know, and a lot of planted tank people, I know you know this, you're a sharp planted tank guy, but a lot of like especially beginner plant people, they stick plants in their tank, you know, and they're fertilizing it and they're doing all the stuff, you know, following the directions on the bottle. And then after a while, they start, wow, this plant keeps fading. Why does it keep fading? It keeps fading. Well, the number one thing that people usually overlook is carbon, a carbon source. Because when we have these plants in nature, you know, they're growing in muck. There's fish poop. There's turtles tooting in there. You name it. There's all kinds of, there's fermentation going on all over the bottom, all the dead stuff. So that stuff is constantly dumping massive amounts of carbon, available carbon into the water. So when you think of it that way, when you put these plants into a glass box with sand, well, where's the carbon, right? There is no carbon unless you do that. That really pumps the carbon up. So that really was the genius breakthrough that Sensei Amano, Takashi Amano over at ADA kind of figured out. You know, he figured it out one day and he was going home with a friend, as the story has it, and he had been drinking and he was lamenting over some photos that just wouldn't turn out well. So he kind of stumbled into the, I guess, Circle K or whatever there, and he picked up some seltzer water and eureka. He had a eureka moment. And the next day, he filled an entire aquarium up with nothing but seltzer water, unflavored seltzer, and pow, all the plants popped.